That music here on this Wednesday afternoon means it's time for Helping Seniors of Brevard. Your host, Kerry Fink, is here. I'm John Harper. Let's get things underway. A very special show today, Kerry Fink. By the way, Kerry is the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard. And Kerry, this is very special today. I'll let you tell the audience why.
Thank you, John Harper. It's always great to be here on the radio. Every Wednesday we gather lunchtime on 90.3 FM. WEJF, and also welcome to those of you who listen to us online at wejf.net, and those of you who catch this as a podcast later. You are tuning into what I would call a historic broadcast, and let me explain why. I wish this is one of those rare moments. I'll have to do my best radio job of using words to paint the picture, but for the first time ever, we are broadcasting now from the Helping Seniors of Brevard Senior Resource Center. And this is the first time for us, John Harper. You've been connected with Joe Steckler, our president and founder, going way back. In fact, you got Joe started in radio way back in the day. And this is something that even when Joe was building the Joe's Clubs for Brevard Alzheimer's, this was always in the back of his head. He wanted to see there be a senior resource center where people who provide good services and really care for seniors are able to get together with the Helping Seniors organization and really bring that to reality. So this is exciting. One of the things we get to do here, even though this is just our temporary studio, we're looking forward to having really a full-fledged studio and being able to do a lot of stuff here, John.
Well, Kerry, this is exciting, and it's not often that something like this occurs. I know you, along with Joe Steckler, have been working for a long time to get the new facility up and running, and here it is. And Joe Steckler, as you were just mentioning, Kerry Fink, had great vision going way back, still continues to have that vision.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what really helps make the difference between this organization and so many others, and that is the vision and the stick-to-itiveness, if that's the word to use, to ensure that Helping Seniors of Brevard is a viable organization.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring our guest into the conversation, because this is a big historic moment, and I am really honored that we have a longtime friend of the Helping Seniors organization. She is an expert at helping people find the right situation for them when it comes to employment. Her name is Lois Thomas. She's with CareerSource Brevard, and thank you for all you do for helping people find good work and good things to do with their time here in Brevard County.
Kerry, thank you again for having me. I'm so excited to be here in the new resource center. I think that I got the grand tour moments ago. So to actually see all the plans coming together and to actually be a part of the first inaugural show in the new facility, it is just absolutely amazing, and I'm so grateful that you have me a part of this first inaugural show.
No, thank you, Lois. And I was thinking, John Harper, it's a little bit like I can't come up with a pithy thing like Neil Armstrong, one small step and all that, but there ought to be some kind of a saying we could say for the inaugural broadcast, because again, Joe has talked about this vision. I love it when you tell the story of how Joe walked into the station one day looking for the owner of the radio station all those years ago, and you were busy painting, because that's what, when you're the boss, that's what you got. You just got to do everything, right?
Yeah, I was painting some of the studios, and it was a hot August day, and the air conditioning was not working, and I'd been there all day and filled with paint. And as you said, Joe comes in, and he's looking for the owner or the general manager of the station. He looks around and he says, "Do you know where that person is?" And I said, "Yeah, you're looking at him." So he thought that was kind of interesting that I was willing to get my hands dirty, and that they were.
No doubt. And that was all those years ago. You kind of got, Joe, we always talk about that you're the longest running continuous radio show host here in Brevard County. You had a huge career with all the things you did in Detroit radio and lots of network radio and things like that, but you've been really a hometown hero for all those years. And I remember you saying Joe is probably second running to you in terms of the longest term.
I believe, Kerry, Joe Steckler is. I've been trying to do the homework on this in the past when we've talked about this, And Joe is the second longest running talk show host on the Space Coast.
See, there you go. And Joe is 89 and takes a knocking but keeps on rocking, and there's no better friend of seniors. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, we're going to talk about something that you need to mark down on your calendar. It's coming up Wednesday, May 24th. So it's literally like 1 week from today. And we're going to really get into it, but it is the Back to Work 50-plus job fair. And so we're really going to talk with Lois Thomas because she's heading that up and putting that all together. Before we jump into that, though, I just want to stay on this thing a little bit about the vision for what we're trying to accomplish in the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, because I was telling Lois, we had an opportunity to talk a little bit before the show, and I was explaining to you that we have a great friends in the world over at Zon Beachside, and this was something that Greg Kennedy, who is the excellent executive director there, and Joe Steckler had kind of come up with this idea to have a place where both businesses and organizations can come together with a nonprofit such as Helping Seniors to make sure that we're getting information in the hands of seniors. And it was really off to a great start. The thing that actually made it stop was something that none of us asked for. That was COVID, because being inside the assisted living facility, as you remember, it was 30 days to stop the spread, but then it just seemed to drag on while they tried to sort their way through it. And so that was at that point, Greg really did need the space, because that place always serves with excellence and is full. And so they said, since you guys are not able to come in here, we really need to house a few more seniors here. So Joe never gave up on his dream. It was the opportunity for us to come back here. And so Joe, if you know anything about Joe, he's pretty tenacious. So he starts sending letters out to people in the community who really have some authority and have some power in the community and have some ability to do some things. He sends a letter to Dr. Craig DeLegdish, who is the head of Omni Healthcare, one of the top doctors groups and organizations here in Brevard County, and saying, do you have any space that you could make available that would help us to get this Senior Resource Center back in action? And so not only through the kindness of Omni Healthcare and Dr. DeLegdish, not only were able to get a restart on the whole thing that we had started with the Senior Resource Center, but this just takes it to a whole nother level, Lois, as you've seen walking around here.
Absolutely. And just to see the vision coming together and just walking through the offices, I know everything is still in the works,
Yep.
but I know I'm pretty confident that once all the pieces come together, that this is going to be a phenomenal project and resource for the seniors throughout Brevard County. And I'm so excited that I'm here to actually witness it in progress. And I hope you call me back so I can see the finished product as well.
Yeah, I was smiling when John was relaying his story of painting the radio station, because I guess we're sort of in that under construction kind of phase. We are looking at having a grand opening in July, so we will keep you posted on that. The center is open, but it is a little bit, you have to pick your way around because we're still getting things moved in. The partners are moving in. Seniors Helping Seniors, Jennifer Barton is already headquartered here. Helping Seniors is now headquartered here. We're going to be having several new initiatives here that are very important. We're going to be doing the Senior Housing Task Force route out of here. For the first time ever, we're really going to be able to work with a volunteer program, which is something that we've always wanted to do, but have never really had the ability to do it. As we spoke about before, we're setting up a more permanent idea so that we can do our media efforts, because Lois, as you know, you live in a county that's 72 miles north to south, and media is a great way to reach people from Micco to Mims, just like right here on 90.3 FM WEJF, 30,000 watts blasts up and down the Space Coast, so we know people are able to tune in. So I guess with that, I wanted to kind of let folks know that, we get so many calls, by far, the number one call that we're getting is challenges about senior housing. People are, both the cost of living is going up, but a lot of people are getting squeezed when they find out they're getting their lease renewals and things like that. And what we've always said is, if you're a younger person, you might say, well, maybe I could work some overtime, or maybe I could find a second job, or do something that would help me increase my income so that I could meet whatever I'm being asked to meet. And one of the challenges that we're finding for seniors these days is that, at least for those who can and are interested in, maybe having an increase in income is a way to kind of combat what's happening to the value of that shrinking dollar.
Absolutely. I think it gives them the opportunity to be more self-sufficient and self-reliant, and to be able to adequately provide for themselves and their families. I would say within the past couple of years, especially the last 2 years, I've seen a very high increase of seniors either calling or coming into our centers and just saying that they're having a hard time paying, whether it's their rent or their mortgage. And so, for even some of them, they've already retired and they have to come out of retirement in order to adequately support themselves and their families. So housing is definitely a huge concern for Brevard County. And having an event like this where we have individuals who are able to connect with so many multi-industry employers, where they're able to share their skills and what they can do professionally, and also connect directly with those employers and possibly walk away with either an interview, and some of them will actually get interviewed on the spot.
Wow.
So next Wednesday, 1 week from today, we're going to have our Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair. We're going to feature over 35 employers from various industries in aerospace, aviation, professional services, healthcare, and more. We're also going to have several staffing agencies there as well. So this will be an excellent opportunity for our older job seekers to connect with employers that are actively hiring for part-time roles, full-time roles, remote positions, hybrid positions as well. So this is an excellent opportunity for our older adults to get back to work.
No, it really is a good thing. I'm going to say this now, but I'm also we're going to repeat this a couple of times. So make sure you grab a pen and to jot this down. But we are talking about next Wednesday, May the 24th, is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Tony Rosa Community Center right there on Port Malabar Boulevard in Palm Bay. And, we had the privilege, because you were kind enough to invite us. You had a very successful Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair. It seems like it was last fall or something, and we were in Rockledge at the nice facility there, and it really opened my eyes to see, there's a lot of support, because I think if you're a job seeker and thinking maybe I do want to get back in the workforce, it also could be a little bit intimidating, because you go, well, last time I did this, I had to type a resume, drop it in the mail, and all those things don't really apply necessarily to modern job hunting. But the way that you actually set it up is you're there to support and help folks get back into the workforce.
Absolutely. And I really do feel like this Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair is a much needed resource for many who are returning to the job market, who may have reservations. Where do I start? What do I do? Well, at CareerSource Brevard, we have 3 office locations in Titusville, in Rockledge, and also in Palm Bay. And we help with resume writing, interviewing skills, how to market yourself to potential employers. We also offer workshops every day in our Palm Bay, Rockledge, and Titusville office. Well, actually, except for Fridays. But we also offer various workshops that I think is really helpful to get our older job seekers acclimated and back into the workforce, to prepare for what to expect.
Yeah.
And also how to market themselves. A lot of times I find that many of our older job seekers, it's the resume and interviewing skills that they may need assistance with. So it's so helpful that we do offer these workshops that are available to them, where they're able to come in to any of our centers and get the information that they need.
Joe has always talked about making an aging plan, which is what he's trying to do is the same idea that we have behind having a hurricane plan. It's like we don't want a hurricane, but we want to sort of know how we anticipate navigating all those complications. And so when Joe talks about an aging plan, he's sort of saying the same thing. We have a term that we kind of euphemistically call it, let's get your ducks in a row. And all we're trying to do is say to you, let's get a plan for the road ahead. And I think there's a couple of things to explore in the whole job thing. Sometimes it may be just economics. I need to have some extra employment so I can pay what I need to pay. But there's another thing that I think is important that probably doesn't get talked about enough is the value and importance of what you do as as your career? Because, I always used to love the term like I'm retired, but then how many people have you probably run into say, well, I retired and then I got bored and I had to figure out what I'm going to do with my time? Because work isn't just always about the paycheck. It is about feeling like I'm contributing and I'm doing something that's making a difference. And I think that's one of the things maybe we don't necessarily talk about as much. You might be sitting at home saying, well, I'm perfectly happy, minding the cat and, watching TV, but maybe there's something I really could contribute with all the skills I've had all my years.
Absolutely. And I think the perfect or ideal aspect is having a combination of both. Mm-hmm. So when you can merge something that you absolutely love to do and then also monetize that, that's a win-win situation. And so I think it's important if you can. I know there's so many people throughout Brevard County that are actively looking for work, and then there's some that just want to contribute their skill sets to an employer or to a cause. And so here's an opportunity to do so at the job fair where you can come down and check out the different employers that are there. And in addition to the employers that are going to be there, we also have community-based organizations that will be present at that job fair that will be sharing information on their different resources and services that are available as well. Also, earlier, you mentioned having a plan.
Yeah.
So with CareerSource Brevard, for individuals who go through our Back to Work 50 Plus program, they're assigned to a career counselor to work with them one-on-one.
Wow.
And they also work together with them to create an individual employment plan.
Wow.
So they talk about challenges in terms of strategies to help them achieve whether it's their job or career goal or even training goal, because we do have a few that want to go back to school or complete a short-term training or certification. So that's something that's discussed as well, that individual employment plan.
See, I love what you were just saying, because what we have said about getting your ducks in a row, as we've started to talk about this, and traditionally we're talking about this in 7 what we call kind of key areas. We talk about legal questions, we talk about financial questions, we talk about your plan about how you want to live as you grow older. Do you want to age in place and make sure your home is safe and things like that? Or are you open to a new idea? Maybe you're going to downsize. Maybe you're going to look at assisted living. We also, in that same 7, we talk about things like, making sure you have the right Medicare so that you're set for whatever your particulars are and things like that. We also talk about transportation being an important factor and things like that. But one of the things that we've learned as we've talked to experts along the way, that we've really come up with, almost call it a sub-motto, which is don't try this on your own. So many people think, well, I know how to Google. I'm just going to go and search something out on the internet, and it's probably the right thing for me. And I know, I can tell you over and over every time that I talk with an elder law attorney and somebody is online trying to sort out their legal stuff, you just see their eyes roll and they go, this is going to cost them a lot of money, because you really need a person who knows what they're doing to guide you through the process. And I was thinking, but that same thing is true, especially if you haven't been in the job market recently, right? Why would you try to, find a video on YouTube about how to interview where you could get somebody who's local, who knows the job market, who knows what employers are looking for if they're going to hire seniors? And that's what we talk about. Don't try this on your own. CareerSource Brevard, you have so many programs that can help folks.
Absolutely. We have resources available to accommodate everyone. And so for those who may just be considering, how do I start? Where do I just start this process overall? You can actually visit all 3 or any one of our CareerSource Brevard locations. We also have our CareerSource Brevard site, careersourcebrevard.com. You can visit our website and you can see the different services and programs that we have to offer. We have programs and services for military personnel, for veterans and their families. We also have programs and services for, of course, our Back to Work 50 plus age group, so for individuals who are 50 years of age and older. And we have programs for youth as well. So we have various programs to accommodate a little bit of everyone.
It really is a story about, there's no reason for you to have to try this on your own, because these are good resources. And I remember you and I talked about this when we were talking up the job fair that was coming to Rockledge. And I said, what is the price of this? And you said FREE. And I was like, well, you can't get a better deal than that, can you?
Absolutely, you can. And all of the services at CareerSource Brevard, including the Back to Work 50 Plus program, is FREE. Well,
and because I guess if I think about it, is one of the factors that maybe as seniors, when we think about like kind of re-entering the job market, we're a little bit like, probably, I don't want to say afraid. I mean, we think we know our stuff, but we don't really know how the world has shifted around us. And I think that's one of the things that you probably help through the different services that you do, is help folks get set so that they can feel confident about returning.
Absolutely. And then also educating them on the different things that have changed since 2020, since the pandemic. We've seen so many changes in terms of how people look for work, and also where they look for work. In terms of, there was a time where all of the interviews were conducted in person, face to face. Whereas we're seeing things change. We've seen it go from completely virtual, and now we see some employers slowly trickling in and having some in-person and also some remote or hybrid interviews as well. So knowing what those changes are and how you can best market yourself for those changes, I think, is extremely important.
Yeah, as we go into the second half of the Helping Seniors radio show, we're going to talk really specifically about the opportunity. Again, I want you to get this on your calendar if there's a way for you, if you're near Palm Bay, or even if you're in Melbourne or West Melbourne or in Barefoot Bay. This is worth you checking out, because you're dealing with employers who are county-wide, right? So, I mean, just because somebody may say, well, I live in Melbourne, does this apply to me, right? You would still want to take a look at this job fair, the Back to Work 50 Plus job fair, May 24th. It's a week from today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Tony Rosa Community Center. But literally, even if you're not living in Palm Bay, it's still applicable to you, right? If you can get there.
I would strongly recommend, if you are close to the area, to go ahead and stop by. We do have one employer that's outside of Brevard County, but they have several fully remote positions that people are able to do from the comfort of their homes. So it's definitely worth the drive to come over. I know we have several people throughout the county who are talking about this event. Is it worth the investment? I strongly feel it is. Because one of the things, when people are going online and searching for jobs and applying to those positions online, they're not sure if they're going to get connected with a hiring manager or recruiter. At this job fair, they will have an opportunity to meet face-to-face with hiring managers, recruiters, key decision makers, and people who represent the company, so they can actually place their resume in the hands of a hiring manager or recruiter. So I really do feel it's a good return on investment to attend the event, connect with the employers, and also the community-based organizations as well.
So we're talking with Lois Thomas with CareerSource Brevard. We're going to be talking more about the Back to Work 50 Plus job fair coming up Wednesday, a week from today, May 24th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so we'll be back with the second half of the Helping Seniors radio show right after this. Stay tuned.
You know, Kerry Fink, it never fails whenever we play that music for the show, Helping Seniors of Brevard. All of our guests in the studio, including our engineers and behind-the-scenes staff, and yourself as well, kind of dance in your chairs.
Well, we called it the music of your life for all those years. It still is.
Because it is of you.
It is great. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Kerry Fink, that's the voice of Kerry Fink. Kerry, of course, is the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Very special broadcast today because this is an inaugural broadcast of sorts as you're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard. Let's get back to it. And here once again is your host, Kerry Fink.
Thank you, John Harper. Yes, by inaugural broadcast, what we're talking about, this is the first time ever that we have been doing our radio broadcast from right here at the Helping Seniors brand new Senior Resource Center right here in Melbourne. The way we describe it, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the show, is that Dr. DeLegdish, the head of Omni Healthcare, said, I'd like to find a way to help you guys keep this work going for helping seniors. And it's so important because in our county, 1 in 4 is over the age of 65, and 1 in 2, ARP, whether you like it or not, is going to send you a senior membership card the day your 50th birthday happens. So, that's a lot of folks who are seniors, are going to be seniors, or are caring for seniors. And that's why having a resource center is such a great idea. So Dr. DeLegdish very kindly organized a space for us here in his, I call it the Omni Healthcare Professional Tower right here at South Apollo Drive, right, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the hospital here in Melbourne. And it's a great place. It's got a lot of doctors and excellent medical services here in this facility, but they've carved us out a space that we're going to be able to do a lot of the things that we anticipate. Joe has always been in Joe's mind that we're going to be able to have a volunteer force. We're going to be able to work on senior housing. We're going to be able to do some training classes. We've got a little training classroom and some things set up. Plus, we have a lot of community partners in here, and we'll have our ability to do radio and TV, just like we are kind of proof of concept today, John Harper, with being here. And so what I'm really excited about, too, as we talked about in the first half of the show, was that our guest today is so appropriate because Lois Thomas with CareerSource, she's all about helping people with their future, too, just as the same as we're doing. And where all of our lines intersect is, Lois, you have this really great back to work 50-plus job fair that you've been pulling together. It happens literally a week from today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Tony Rosa Community Center. And there's actually some events leading up to it. But before I get there, can you just explain, suppose that I have no idea what a job fair is or why it would even be interesting for me. Like you meet somebody on the street and we say, we're having a job fair, and they go, oh, I'm retired, I don't even care about that. How do you explain, like, no, this really is something you at least want to investigate and learn about before you just...
All right. Well, if someone just wants to know a little bit more about a job fair, because many people haven't been to a job fair before, then I will be hosting a Preparing for the Job Fair workshop tomorrow at 11 a.m. and also at 1 p.m. So this would be an excellent opportunity to just get an overview of what a job fair is like. You can ask questions, you can find out what to do before, during, and also after a job fair. And so I think it's helpful to have the workshop. That way, if there's any reservations, if there's any questions, or even to find out a little bit more about the different employers and community-based organizations that are going to be at the event, then I think it would be a good idea to check it out and to find out more.
Yeah, as speaking of community organizations, we're excited helping seniors. Brevard is going to be on location. We're so excited to see this be a resource in our community. But if you're talking to somebody that you run into on the street, who is the person that should look at a job fair, especially a back to work 50-plus job fair?
Well, this job fair is very unique because it's specifically targeted towards older job seekers. Mm-hmm. However, everyone of all ages will be able to attend. I think that having this specifically targeted for older job seekers is something that, again, is so needed for our community. And I'm just so excited. We hosted the event last year and it was pretty successful. Yes. So to do it again this year, and of course to have the Helping Seniors team a part of the event again this year, so excited and looking forward to it. I do greatly believe that it could benefit all age groups, but this particular job fair is targeted towards our older adult job seekers.
One of the organizations that's pretty near and dear to helping seniors, and people get us confused a lot, is a company called Seniors Helping Seniors. And they hire seniors to help with seniors. It's what they call companion care, which means it's like transportation to and from doctor's offices, help with meal planning. It's maybe things that need to get fixed around the house. It's maybe different services like that. And I remember something that Jennifer Barton, who is the head of that company, and she actually serves as a volunteer on our board of directors for the Helping Seniors nonprofit, but she says they love to hire somebody that has the heart of a volunteer but doesn't mind accepting a paycheck. And you said said something kind of similar in the first part of the show. You said, here's a chance to really find something fulfilling to do, where your skills might really be helpful, but you're gonna take home some extra money for doing it.
Yeah, that's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And one of the things that impressed me with the job fair that you put together last year was it wasn't just tables that you would walk from prospective employer to prospective employer. You took a lot of time to make sure that tools like a professional headshot were available. There was a lot of resources that were available to the people who were coming out to the fair as well.
Absolutely. And just as last year, we will also have a professional photographer on site that will be taking pictures for everyone who has an opportunity to register. And for those who may have challenges registering online, you are welcome to reach out to any one of our CareerSource Brevard locations and just request assistance with that. Also, my number is on the flyer, my office number, which is 321-394-0638. It's on the flyer as well, so if you need assistance registering online or just registering for the event, you're welcome to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to assist you with that. But for those who do register for the event, then you would be able to also receive a free complimentary professional headshot. And that's something that you can use on your LinkedIn pages or any professional networking that you may do. Some people may even put it on a business card that they may have. So I think it's very helpful to have that.
Yeah, there's no question. And again, as we've talked about, what's the price of the Back to Work 50 Plus job fair? It's absolutely no charge. And again, as we've talked about in the first half of the show, one of the things we keep learning as we talk to experts in our community is there is no need to go it alone. Like, if you're not sure about things, I think you guys are a great resource to ask the questions, especially if you maybe haven't been in the modern workforce in terms of job seeking and how things have oftentimes moved to online world, or maybe people are talking about doing things remotely and things like that, and maybe you're not feeling like you're 100% on that technology curve. But you guys are really there to help folks get connected to the right opportunity, because it really is a solution for the employer who's trying to find somebody, a good quality qualified help, and it's a great resource for the senior because it's going to mean extra income.
Absolutely, and we have so many older adults throughout Brevard County that have very unique professional skill sets that have worked in diverse industries and areas. So this would be an opportunity for them to come out, check out the different employers that are there. And you never know, they may walk away. And we did have an instance last year where someone was offered a position on the spot.
Wow.
So I think that is absolutely phenomenal that we are able to provide this resource to our older adult community. We're going to have over 35 employers.
Wow.
We're going to have a professional photographer there. We're going to have community-based organizations there as well. So this is such a unique opportunity for people of all diverse backgrounds, as we'll have multi-industry employers from different areas and avenues.
So as far as like somebody who may be listening to the show, how would they gauge whether this has meaning for them? Maybe they're on the fence. They said, well, I haven't really thought about this in a while. I don't even know if I'm ready for the challenge. Would you encourage somebody like that to say, come out and see what's out there?
Absolutely. Still register. What do you have to lose? Because again, this is a free event. Yep. And also, this would give you a chance to connect and network not only with recruiters and hiring managers, but with other job seekers as well. And you never know what could come from that. And then to have such an event like this, again, we're going to be next week. Gosh, it came really fast. But next week from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Tony Rosa Community Center in Palm Bay. We're going to have a lot of people there, a lot of unique employers. So if you're even on the fence, I would still say to go ahead and register, because you just never know. You never know.
Even as you were saying that, I was thinking about this. Like, a lot of times you say, well, somebody says, well, I'm going to look into the job market. And so maybe they start, running around online looking for places that might be appropriate for them to seek employment with. But then you have to go through this whole process of either figuring out how each individual organization wants to receive your interest in it. And, then you may have to have different interviews or things like that. So it seems like you're going to do all this work, 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 7 times, depending on how many jobs that you want to consider taking a look at. Whereas when you have the job fair, it's like you're bringing the employers to us. We can kind of like walk around and with a little menu card and say, well, that sounds like it's appropriate, or I didn't even know that was an opportunity.
Absolutely. It's a great way for the employers to market their business and the different available opportunities that are out there. And then it's also a great way for job seekers to market themselves, to talk about their unique skill sets and qualifications and how it could potentially be an asset to those employers that are actively hiring for, of course, part-time, full-time, remote, and also hybrid opportunities.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is obviously at Helping Seniors, we're champions for seniors, but I want to just say this as a statement, and then you can agree, disagree, but to me it really seems like there is a work ethic that the Generation 50 plus was brought up with. And so particularly at the stage of life, it seems like, people who want to go back to work, they are relishing the opportunity to do that, to contribute, to do something meaningful. And so I'm hazarding the guess that probably oftentimes the work ethic is something that the employers really value.
Absolutely. The work ethic is so important for our older job seekers. They have so much to offer, not just that, but their skill sets. That's really what's meaningful. Their skill sets, their qualifications, their diverse experience. A lot of times they have the ability to be mentors for some of the younger workers, and also for the employers that support a multi-generational workforce. I think is ideal because you have individuals of all ages in the workplace, and I think that's important to have, especially in this day and age.
It's funny because back in our corporate day, we had a radio network that literally targeted people that were over 50. And we were always careful to not call them seniors because a lot of times seniors didn't want to be called seniors. And I remember talking with Joe when he was founding the organization, calling it Helping Seniors. And I thought, shouldn't there be another word for that? And then I started thinking about, no, Joe, you're right. Because, what senior means is that you have experience, you have wisdom, you have knowledge, you've had a lifetime to gain all these skills. You have so much to give back to people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, if you're a good person, they're going to make you a vice president. If you're a great person, they're going to make you a senior vice president. But I do think of that as the context for how the seniors should be regarded in the workplace, and that there is so much wisdom and so much expertise. And so if everybody, like you said, can work together multi-generationally, you have the young folks, because how many times do we go to younger folks and say, I can't figure out my phone? And then how many times is there some life experience that an older person has that they can really share that makes a difference in, a younger person?
Yes, and that bridge of working together, bringing those generations together. I think right now we have 5 different generations working together in the workforce.
Wow.
So think about all the contributions that everyone is bringing together from those different generations. I think it's so important to bridge those together because it's good for the business, and it's good for the workers as well. Learning from each other, growing from each other, I think is ideal and important.
So again, what we're talking about is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's a week from today. It's at the Tony Rosa Community Center right there in Palm Bay. It's not hard to find if you're able to drive there or have somebody bring you there. It's not hard to find, but there's also public transportation that can get you there too, right?
Yes, I believe so. And the location of that event, that's going to be 1502 Port Malabar Boulevard in Palm Bay, Florida. We're not too far from the Palm Bay Library.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to ask you to give the number. We're visiting with Lois Thomas with CareerSource Brevard. She's the one who's putting together this whole back to work 50-plus job fair that's happening a week from today. You really want to try to be there for it. If somebody wants to reach you, they got a question, maybe they want to register and they don't know exactly how to get to the right spot online, how do they reach you?
So to reach out to me directly, my office number is 321-394-0638. To reach any of the CareerSource Brevard locations, whether that's Titusville, Rockledge, or Palm Bay, they can reach out to 321-504-7600.
So, and I was going to also offer the Helping Seniors info line. That's Nancy Deerdorf, who 33 years registered, I guess it's probably 34 years now if I'm thinking about it, or maybe even 35. I'll have to ask her for an update. But she has a lot of experience. First of all, she, like John Harper, goes back with Joe to the days when Joe was getting all this kicked off and has served on our board. Kindly stepped off the board and came on to staff to be our operations director, but she supervises all the calls that come in on our senior information helpline, which is that free call for seniors and those who care for them. I'm going to give you that number, so if you grab a pencil or something you can jot down with. The phone number to Helping Seniors is 321-473-7770. I'll say that again. It's 321-473-7770. And so I realize, you might be in a car, you might be making a cup of coffee or something, and you may not absolutely always be able to grab a notepad and say, I just heard Lois's number, I want to get that down. But if you call Nancy, she's going to make sure that she can fill in any gaps if you missed a piece of information, because this is too important to miss. It's, again, a week from today, May 24th, 2023. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Back to Work 50-plus job fair. Lois Thomas with CareerSource Brevard, you really work hard to bring all these employers together to get all these tools that help seniors. This has to be kind of fulfilling for you to see you making that kind of a positive impact in the lives of seniors, and also you're helping employers solve a problem that they desperately need some good help.
You hit the nail right on the head. And that's so true. Even this morning, right before I came here into the studios, I actually had a call from an employer that wanted to join the job fair. So the list is continually growing. So we have had a lot more. I think we had about 5 last week that has joined the job fair, and then 1 this morning. So that list is growing, and which is a good thing, because this gives the employers an opportunity to, of course, advertise the different available openings that they have. Some of them may be hard to fill, and they're hoping to fill those positions or get viable candidates for those roles during the job fair.
Right.
And then it gives them an opportunity to market their company as well. For our job seekers, it gives them an opportunity to get in front of an employer and to pitch themselves, basically to let that employer know who they are, what kind of roles they're looking for, their professional backgrounds and skills. So it is a win-win for the employers and also for the job seekers as well.
I was thinking, if you're the person who's going to attend this fair, you really are like, people joke, I'm the boss of me. Okay, this is very empowering, right? Because you get a chance to get into this environment, see what's out there. You can just, if you're a serious job seeker, there's plenty of opportunities. If you're just maybe casually sticking your toe in the water and want to see what's out there, it's kind of a non-intimidating way to do there. Plus, you get the advantage of all the help and the resources, whether it be if you register, you can get the free professional headshot. You'll just see what's out in the marketplace. You'll get to meet the great folks at CareerSource Brevard. It's like a no-lose situation because it's free, right?
Absolutely. And we'll also have staff on site too. So we'll have CareerSource Brevard staff on site if you have any questions, or if you want to be directed, anything, any information or questions, you can reach out to the CareerSource Brevard staff that will be on site to direct and provide support. So I think that's ideal. And then also we talked about the Preparing for the Job Fair workshop that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. It gives our job seekers an opportunity to prepare themselves, know what to expect, so that way they feel comfortable and confident to get ready to market themselves during the job fair.
Know before you go. I like that. Now, is that an on-site event kind of thing, or how does that work if somebody's interested in that for tomorrow?
Yeah, so the Preparing for the Job Fair is going to be on site at our Palm Bay office location. Okay. And we'll also host that event virtually. So if you're close to the Palm Bay office, you're welcome to join in on site at our Palm Bay office location. If not, you can come down to our Titusville or Rockledge Center and view the workshop virtually.
Oh, wow! So this is a resource that would be available, really, sort of countywide. Even if you're not necessarily in the Palm Bay area, you could also pick it up, like you said, at Titusville or Melbourne too. Then.
Absolutely.
Well, so I guess to kind of like put a bow around it, you've got to red star that date, May 24th, a week from today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tony Rosa Community Center. It's like you have nothing to lose by checking out the Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair. It doesn't cost you a dime. And it could end up bringing you all that extra money that you're looking for in the next year. So we're talking with Lois Thomas with CareerSource Brevard. We're gonna save just a minute here at the end to talk about ourselves, talking about the Helping Seniors fundraisers. But one more time, if somebody's interested, maybe they heard something and they got a question or they want to sign up, what's the best number to reach you at?
To contact me directly, they can contact 321-394-0638. That's my direct number. Or in order to reach out to any one of our CareerSource Brevard locations, whether in Titusville, Rockledge, or Palm Bay, they can contact 504-7600. Again, that number is 321-504-7600. They can also visit our website at CareerSourceBrevard.com or like and follow us on our various social media pages. That's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're pretty much everywhere you want to be.
That's great. That's great. Lois Thomas, the Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair, Wednesday, week from today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Palm Bay. So with that, I'm going to shift a gear and talk about literally shift a gear, get it? Because it's a car raffle, shift a gear. So you got to get your tickets for the Helping Seniors car raffle because that's our fundraiser. You buy one ticket for $25, 5 for $100, and you will be picking out your brand new car if we pull your winning ticket on Saturday, October 7th. Now, there's 5 cars because AJ Hires, who's friends with Joe Steckler, you get to pick which car you want to win. So it could be a Dodge Challenger, it could be a Chevrolet Camaro, it could be a Mazda Miata convertible, it could be a Kia Sportage, or also now new for 2023, since AJ has built himself a fine new Mitsubishi it's hard to say, Mitsubishi car dealership. You could take a Mitsubishi Outlander. Lois, have I asked you, do you have a car in this race? Is there one that you say like, oh man, I would love to win?
The Mitsubishi.
All right. Yeah, you said it well too.
That sounds interesting.
It's a cool car. We were just out at Friendly's. They invite us out to some of the big car shows, and that was one of the first times we had out the Mitsubishi Outlander, and it's a beautiful car. They sent us out one that had like leather interior, and it was this pretty red color. You can see pictures of it on the Helping Seniors Facebook page. And it's just a neat car. And Vicki Moore, who normally is kind of like Team Mazda, she said it was a lot of fun to drive because she brought it over to the car show from the dealership. But if you want to get information about the Helping Seniors car raffle, it is our major source of keeping us going throughout the year. It's our fundraiser, and Joe's been doing this going back into the mid-'90s with AJ Hires, going back to when Joe was trying to raise money to build the Joe's Club. Now it's all for keeping the Helping Seniors organization throttled up and moving forward. But you get one ticket for $25, 5 for $100. You can stop by any Boniface Hires car dealership, get your tickets. You can call Nancy at 321-473-7770, and she can get you set up with your tickets by phone safely and securely. Or if you like to kind of do it yourself, you can just go right to Helping Seniors car raffle. But as we like to say, you got to be in it to win it. So you get your tickets, and then you get a great night at the museum. Saturday, October 7th, we get to be back at Mark Pylock's amazing American Muscle Car Museum. You don't have to be present to win, but if you're in town, it's a night you do not want to miss. So that really is bringing us to about the time we have for the show today on the Helping Seniors show. Thank you so much, Lois Thomas. We look forward to Helping Seniors going to be right there with you May 24th, a week from today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Back to Work 50 Plus Job Fair. So we'll see you there, or hopefully we'll see you next week on the radio too.
All right, sounds like a plan. Looking forward to meeting and seeing all of our Helping Seniors family and all of the ones that will be participating in the upcoming job fair at the Tony Rosa Community Center on Wednesday, May 24th, 1 week from today.
Perfect.